years, it wasn't like this. Go back 20 years, wasn't like the planet. Look, you can even go back to the days of World War II, which was certainly tumultuous by anyone's standards.
Hmm.
And then you throw in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, but it's not like what we've got today. I mean, what most people, when I wrote about this in the book, Days of
Days of
Chaos,
chaos.
yeah, Fukushima, the Fukushima disaster, that happened on the heels of a 9.0 earthquake. And what people don't understand is the Fukushima prefecture is like here, and this is the Pacific Ocean. This tidal wave comes in and wipes out, and we saw it live on TV because of the satellites. It killed, what, upwards of 20,000 Japanese people who couldn't flee this ensuing tidal wave. It also damaged the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear reactor power plant.
Hmm.
So much so that reactor 4 is in critical meltdown right now and has been for months. The Japanese government lied to us to cover it up. TEPCO lied to us about what was really going on in Fukushima. Now it's all starting to spill out, no pun intended. What we do know is that millions of gallons a day of radioactive water are being pumped back into the Pacific Ocean. So
Yeah.
at some point there's a tipping point, and things are becoming irradiated, and it's like Chernobyl was, where Chernobyl in the Ukraine, a reactor blew, and what they did to contain it, they built this cement sarcophagus over the reactor. Well, you can't go into Chernobyl. You can basically go in there for a few hours. That's it.
Hmm.
And you wear a radioactive suit with a little detector on it to show you how many rads you've taken in, and that's it. You can only stay there for so long, and then you got to get out of there and decontaminate.
Sure.
You can go in, but you're taking a risk and exposing yourself to radiation. Well, welcome to Fukushima. These people who lost their homes and livelihood, they will never go back in there again. And they're trying to use robots to go in and try to cool the reactor in reactor 4, and the robots melt. That's how hot it is. That's,
Wow.
I mean, and we hear nothing about it at all. It's like completely dumbed down. So
Old
this is
news
my
now, isn't
point.
it, LA? It's like old news.
Huh?
Oh, that happened. That's like old news. People
Oh
that.
yeah, it's old news. Fukushima. Oh, it's all under control. No, it's not.
Yeah. You
And,
know.
and in my book, there's a website I quote or link to. And by the way, the book Days of Chaos has links to. It's also a Kindle book, although it's not up there yet, but it will be. It's all
Excellent.
set to go. Next week we'll have it up on Kindle.
And
And
clickable
what's great
links.
about that is, yeah, all the links are there. You can go click and go to the
Awesome.
Fukushima Diary and .com and yourself, and you read it. Tell me where I'm going wrong here.
Yeah.
And I realize, James, this is not a feel-good, happy message. It's not. I
Yeah.
get that. But like you said, we can either, go have a pint at the local brewery and forget about all this stuff, which a lot of people choose to do,
Yeah.
or we can face reality. And this is what this is. This is reality, and it ain't going away.
You know, LA, we actually got some of the fallout from Chernobyl in Northern Ireland. The sheep were let roam on the hills. In Northern Ireland is mostly mountainous, by the way. The southern half of the country is lowlands, but Northern Ireland was getting some of the fallout from Chernobyl, and the sheep were, used for farming, but they were just left run wild for 30 years after that. They wouldn't touch them, like. So
Wow.
that's a good distance, LA. That's a good distance. And not just give
Yeah.
people a little wake up call. Don't think you're, because it's in some distant part, either getting into the ocean or getting into the air. It can migrate a long way, like.
Sure it can. I firmly believe that some of the dolphin deaths, whale deaths, starfish deaths, stuff along the west coast of the United States probably links back to, in some way, Fukushima.
Mhm.
And again, it's all being managed. Look, there was a report that came across my desk. Some guy, I forget the guy's name, and this guy deliberately blocked the Warren Commission from certain evidence
Oh yeah.
that may have led to another, led away from Lee Harvey Oswald as the lone gunman and pointed to a conspiracy.
Yeah.
And now it's just coming out 50 plus years later.
Yeah.
Well, our government would never do that. Oh, surely these people would never do that. Nonsense. Of course they do. So you remember, this is the same government that rounded up the Native Americans and put them in concentration camps. This is the same government that experimented with blacks in the United States and gave them syphilis to see what would happen, right? And on it goes.
Mhm.
So do I believe these guys? Of course not. And
Yeah.
when the Japanese government tells me that Fukushima is okay and it's a media blackout in this country, I don't believe that for a New York minute.
For sure. Ella, yeah, of course, you mentioned Native Americans there. You've got them in the documentary as a group that may have some knowledge that's prevalent here. Tell us a little bit about that, Ella.
Let me get a swig here. We interviewed Chief Joseph Riverwind and his wife Laura Lynn Riverwind. And what's interesting about Chief Joseph, or both of them, first of all, they're born from above, spirit-filled Christians. That's their operation. That's their worldview. But Chief Joseph talks about that before Europeans came in here, his people worshipped Creator God, and they called him Yehovah, which is the same biblical name. How did that happen? And certain prophecies were given to Native Americans. One of the major prophecies is that the trees would begin to die from the top down. Guess what? Out here in California, we're seeing that. Unprecedented. They're dying from the top down. Then there was another prophecy talking about that there would be these spider webs in the sky. And is that the chemtrails that crisscrosses over our land? And Chief Joseph thinks that it may be, and I agree with them.
They do look like webs, for sure.
They really do look like webs. And so if you don't know what you're looking at, and you look up, how would you describe it? It looks like a web. Of course it does.
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting to get the Native American perspective on some of this end time phenomena that we're seeing now.
If anybody just wants to understand how much air traffic there is in the world, go to a website called Flight Radar 24, and you can see the present air traffic going around the world. And the whole of America is just like bees. It looks like there's a swarm of bees over America. And I think if they're going to do something to this planet and they want it to be over populations, well, the planes fly over populations. What an efficient, genius way to harm a populace. Not a good thing, obviously. I'm just saying that an efficient, genius way if you want to harm a populace to do something like that. And I've no problem believing there's something in harmful in the chemtrails. I don't think it's a good thing. A lot of people were actually in the early days, LA, trying to speculate and come back to Planet X in a way. They were saying, oh, they know Planet X is there and they're just trying to shield us from seeing it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I think it's a bit.
I'm not buying that one, right?
I'm not buying that one either. I'm thinking it's a bit more harmful juice in the field.
There's, we know from the chemtrails that they're spraying aluminum and barium.
Barium as well, yeah.
Yeah, a major rise in Alzheimer's, a rise in autism, and I think in some way there's a connectivity between all this stuff and GM foods. And the bottom line is, it's yet another sign. You see, the planet is under the control of dark forces, to use your term.
Yeah.
As long as I couch it like that, people aren't offended. The moment I go Satan, it's like, oh my, everybody takes a step back. Yeah. So we'll just agree to call it dark forces. All right. The entire planet is under control of extremely malevolent dark forces.
Oh, yeah.
And these forces have an agenda. And that agenda has been prophesied that this anti-Messiah guy will proclaim himself to be God in the rebuilt temple. He'll be able to do supernatural things, and the world will follow after him. Now, I'm not making this stuff up. That's, thousands of year old prophetic language, which I think we're looking at. I think where the stage is being set for it.
Yeah, it's written on the Georgia Guidestones, and I believe there's been an update.
There it is.
And there's been an update to the Georgia Guidestones by the mystery guy. Recently.
Well, I'm actually going to be there in 2 weeks.
Are you? Wow,
Yeah.
I got to talk to you about that, bro. I don't know what the update. I actually
I'll be filming there.
Wow, I just know there's been some sort of an update on the Georgia Guidestones by the mystery guy who put them up there.
Yeah, there's a film by Chris Pinto
Yeah.
and Mike Bennett. I haven't seen the film yet. I'm going to get it.
Wow.
But they've spent 2 years researching the Georgia Guidestones to try to find out who the guy is and what the real agenda is. The agenda is really obvious to me. Keep the world population under 500 million.
Yeah.
Right now, there's 7 billion people.
Keep the population under 500 million and tell them that you're doing it because they're too stupid to know any difference. That's the philosophy, Tell them.
You're right, James. Most people are too busy with putting food on the table,
Yeah.
getting the kids to bed, bringing the kids to school. Oh, we got, the car broke down. We got to fix that. Oh my God, how much do we owe in taxes this week? I mean, right?
Yeah.
And all the governments of the world, even and in America too, we are under this. And you guys, I mean, the UK, my gosh, the amount of taxes you people pay, it's just, I don't understand why you're not storming the Bastille. Oh, that's in French. That's why. But
No, you're
you
right.
get my
No,
point.
death and taxes.
I mean,
They tell you that when you're born here. Just you got death and taxes, and wake up.
That's it. That's it. And they'll tax you when you die. And they do it over here.
Yeah.
The American people we fought a revolutionary war to stop paying these onerous taxes. Now we're right back into it a little over 200 years later. I mean, I made some really good money in 2013. We had a great year.
Yeah.
We sold a lot of books, a lot of stuff. We sold a lot of product.
Mm-hmm.
And, I could have expanded my business. Nope. Most of that profit went right to the IRS because the better you do, the
Yeah.
more they take. And so there's no incentive to do any good anymore because, well, I'm not going to keep it anyway. It's socialism. It's just going to go to some government program. And, now you see this black woman, Obama gave me a cell phone, with all due respect to black people. But what the heck is that?
Yeah.
What do you mean Obama gave you? And then she goes, and I'll never forget this. Whether you're on disability or food stamps or your unemployment, it's like, that's her world. That's her mindset. Disability, food stamps, and unemployment. It's not about how do I get educated to get the heck out of the mess that I'm in?
Yeah.
How do I get a better paying job? Where's the entrepreneurial spirit? It's just Obama gave me a cell phone. I mean, that's like, it's so foreign to me. It's like, I'm on a different planet here,
Doesn't make
and
sense.
I know you are too. But that's the problem in America because we are so divided. You got one group of people, the Democrats in particular, who just want to tax and spend and give everything away. Free stuff. And what people don't realize, Rome fell because of free stuff.
Yeah.
Bread and circus, and that's exactly what's happening to America.
They
I'm
don't-
not a happy camper.
They doubled the university fees in a recession here. I just don't understand how that works. I mean, just because there's a recession and there's less money, the fees double. I don't understand how that works. There's less people going to university now. There's people that would have been out there in these plentiful jobs haven't got jobs to go to now, so they're going to go to the education, but they're stopping them going into education now because they've doubled the fees and they can't afford to go. And then if they can't afford to go and pay the extortionate fees, they can't get an extra job to pay the fees because the extra job wouldn't cover it. It's
There
like,
you go. It's great, isn't it?
no matter what you do, you're beaten away and
You're beaten away. You're hosed.
you're hosed down. You're hosed down.
This is
You're hosed down.
this is the problem. This
Yeah.
is the problem on a global level. It's like the little guy is getting screwed like crazy. And then you get countries like Turkey and Syria and Afghanistan where they're so backward, so corrupt. There's such evil going on there. I mean, I don't even following the stuff with the Afghan boys, but it's great. So this is the the Afghan mentality, okay? We keep the women separate, and when they go out, we dress them in black bags so you can't see anything, just the eyes, and sometimes not even the eyes because that's too alluring. So we can't look at the women. Okay, so that's Islamic Sharia law. But what we're allowed to do under Islamic Sharia law is to take a young boy, 10 or 12, and dress him up like a girl because he's not a girl, but we'll dress him like a girl, and then we'll have sodomy with him. That's okay. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
It's insanity.
That's insane.
Yeah. The more I look, and you say, look, LA, you say there is a grim message here, but it's reality. There's a reality to this,
Reality.
and you can either stick your head in the sand and ostracize yourself to the world for what it is, or you can talk about it and do shows or write books and educate people and bring them to an awareness, and hopefully wake some people up, LA, because
That's what we're trying to do.
I think it's about waking people up is the message.
I agree.
I
I agree. And you know what, James? It's uncomfortable. It's just
It
like
is.
the Matrix.
It is
Remember when
uncomfortable.
Neo gets he's awake and then he realizes where he's been. What is the first thing he throws up?
Yeah.
He throws up because he can't take it. And then and what's his face? Morpheus goes. Pretty much everybody does that when they figure it out, and that's what happens. One woman wrote to me and she said, "I listened to you on some podcast and I went screaming out of the house, literally."
Yeah.
Screaming out of the house. I couldn't stand it. And then I realized that everything you said was true, and I had to backpedal, and I had to find a way to deal with this. And that's what, people look. I'm not making this stuff up. Everything that we've talked about so far
Yeah.
is absolutely true and provable. We're
Yeah.
not making, it's not, we're not wearing tinfoil hats here. It's like everything that we're talking about is happening in real time. What can a person point to that isn't? A million so-called refugees storming through Europe. I mean, if that's not chaotic, I don't know what is, James. I
Yeah.
mean, that's beyond chaotic.
I think there's levels to the chaos too, and then there's genres to the chaos, and then there's pockets
Exactly.
pockets to the chaos, and people don't like that chaos, but they're okay with this bit of chaos, and it's like, I'm sorry, just wake up to it and talk about it and share this and wake everybody up together. We're all brothers and sisters on the planet LA. That's what I try to tell everybody anyway. LA, where can we get a copy of the book, and when is Watchers 9 out? I believe Watchers 9 is out now.
Everything's out. The book's out. We're shipping them. Watchers 9, Days of Chaos by the same name. The book and the DVDs cover different things. They really do. Like the Fukushima event is covered in the book, but not covered in Watchers 9.
Yeah.
The B die-off is covered in both things, but I do it differently than what's in the film.
Gotcha.
So the best place to get this is www.lamarzulli.net. lamarzulli.net. Take you right there. Get
Sure.
both of them. Educate yourself. Get an understanding of what the biblical prophetic narrative states thousands of years, and now we're in this window of time where it's beginning to manifest.
Sure. And what I love about you, you're not just on the armchair doing this, you're out there in the field, meeting people, talking to people on the ground, looking at other researchers, and I'm keen to see what you think of the Georgia Guidestones when you're out there. When are we going to see you in the UK, LA? You got to get over this part of the world.
You know what? There was talk about a conference in the spring, but I haven't heard anything about it. I mean, I would love to come there and do something. So.
Well, you got a place in the studio here as well, and we'll hook you up with Maria Wheatley. I know she's dying to meet you as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we
got
need
some
to talk.
for sure. But now, look, if you're over this way, Ella, you look me up, brother. But I wish you
James.
every success. I like the book, and I like the layout, and there's some cutting edge stuff in there, Ella, and there really is. And Watchers 9, I can't wait to get myself a copy. So you take care, brother. I'll speak to you in a not too distant future.
Sounds good, James. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Bye now.
Transmission begins.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the Josh Tolley Show on the GCN Radio Network.
Our next guest addresses an issue
It'll take more than that to snuff us out. Even if they leveled everything. Or a bit from you.
Watch over us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would not want to walk in there right now.
What are they arguing about?
Pagan Min soldiers are about to attack one of our camps. Amita thinks our priority should be the information the fighters have gathered. Sabal thinks saving our people is more important.
How long have they been at it?
Long enough. The argument never changes and their positions never move. Look, I don't want to bother you, but you're Ajay Gale, right? Thank you for helping us. Everyone here appreciates it.
I owe Golden Path for rescuing me, but honestly, I'm just here to scatter my mother's ashes.
Perhaps. But now you see what Pagan has done to this country. You are the son of Mohan Gale. Like it or not, your duty is Kirat. And your choices will carry weight. We need someone to break the stalemate between Amita and Sabal. Keep that in mind when you're in there.
This is about lives. We don't act, people will die.
This is about war. We need that intel.
We're talking about soldiers we can use. Remember what you said about DARPA?
And if I had a choice between Darpan and the intelligence, I choose the intel.
I would not want to walk in there right now.
What are they arguing about?
Pagan Min soldiers are about to attack one of our camps. Amita thinks our priority should be the information the fighters have gathered. Sabal thinks saving our people is more important.
How long have they been at it?
Long enough. The argument never changes and their positions never move. Look, I don't want to bother you, but you're Ajay Gale, right? Thank you for helping us. Everyone here appreciates it.
I owe Golden Path for rescuing me, but honestly, I'm just here to scatter my mother's ashes.
Perhaps. But now you see what Pagan has done to this country. You are the son of Mohan Gale. Like it or not, your duties, Kirat. And your choices will carry weight. We need someone to break the stalemate between Amita and Sabal. Keep that in mind when you're in there.
This is about lives. We don't act, people will die.
This is about war. We need that intel.
We're talking about soldiers we can use. Remember what you said about DARPA?
And if I had a choice between Darpan and the intelligence, I choose the intel.
How can I help?
One of our camps is about to get overrun. Don't know when, but it could get messy. I need to send them all the support I can. So if you want to help, get over there, brother.